Hello, my name is Rene Haché from LayoutStudio.com, and I'm one of the co-maintainers of the LayoutStudio starter theme. And today I'm just going to spend a little bit of time giving you some of the features that ship with LayoutStudio, and that makes it one of the best themes to quickly create your own custom themes. So I've got a sample site set up here, and I've added some basic color to some of the regions to be able to demonstrate a few features. So obviously at the top I have a yellow a header, and then I have also a yellow background on my footer, and you can see that in the tertiary region here on the left I have a green background color and a blue background for the secondary. Now let's go ahead and have a look at the basic structure. So I'm going to go ahead to the blocks page here and show you the demonstration regions. So obviously, like most themes, we have the header at the top. We then have an area that we call the preface, which is essentially three regions that are divided into first, middle, and last. And that's the same as well for below the content. We have the same sort of general region called postscript, which is postscript divided into three: postscript first, middle, and last. And then we have a navigation region. This is where we recommend that you put all of your menus. And at the very bottom, obviously, we have a footer like any other theme. Now, the main area of content here in Layout Studio is between the primary, which is your main content area, your secondary, and then your tertiary. And that's usually where most of your content is going to go. These other regions, like preface and postscripts, are there more for promotional stuff or stuff that is temporary or not as important to the content of the page. But the main sort of layout is between primary, secondary, and tertiary. So let me go ahead and exit that. Now, the first feature that we are really proud of with Layout Studio is the ability to change your layout dimensions. So I have a link here directly to the settings page of my sample theme, and you'll see here that I can choose from 8 different types of layouts, and here I can set my dimensions. So let's say, for example, that I'm going to increase the width of the secondary to let's say 300, and let's increase the width of the tertiary to 200. Now notice that I've chosen layout number 1, which means that the secondary is now going to be on the left and the tertiary is going to be on the right. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's exit out of there, and you'll see that automatically it has resized my regions, my columns, and it's put secondary on the right, tertiary on secondary on the left, and tertiary on the right. So let's go ahead and try a few more examples of this. Let's go ahead and choose layout number 3, which is your primary, secondary, and tertiary all sort of left to right. And let's go ahead and save that. Let's exit this. You can see that right away I have exactly the setup that I want. So we feel that this is something that is a huge advantage to Layout Studio, where we're not stuck with left or right. That's why we've named the main regions, sort of main content areas, primary, secondary, tertiary, because all of these areas can be moved around at will. So for example, I can go back here, and let's say that I want them, both of my sidebars, to the left of the content. So I'm going to go ahead and choose layout number 6. Got to go ahead and save that. Let's get out of here. And now both of my sidebars are on the left. This is great in terms of your basic setup. Certainly speeds up things. It saves an enormous amount of time. The other thing too is with headers and footers. A lot of times now designers like to make headers and footers that take up the entire browser width. So for example, here in this case, this particular header and footer are restricted by the width of the site that I have set up in my theme settings page. What if I wanted the header to go the entire way? So I can go ahead and back to my settings page, and I'm going to make the header take the full width of the browser. So let's go ahead and save that. Let's exit out of here. And you see now the header is full width. Let's go back to the example page and let's do it for the footer. There you have it. So very quickly you can do some really basic setups in terms of your layout. And now what's left for you to do is to simply go ahead and theme your site. Another great feature that we have is that we have the Drupal CSS reset as a baseline. Now what Drupal is essentially a reset page, a CSS reset, meaning that it's trying to bring all the browsers to the same basic standard, so that to start off with, it resets all the browser style sheets, and so that almost all browsers will look very close, if not identical. So for example, here from the Drupal site, I have an example page of what we're looking at now is just the default of Firefox. So this would be the default of the browser. But if I go ahead and turn on the base of Drupal, you'll see that it already adds defaults. And these defaults now would be very consistent regardless of the browser. So LayoutStudio has both the base Drupal CSS reset, and it also has the visual, which adds a few nice elements and some really nice consistent styling. And so that comes shipping with LayoutStudio. Of course, like almost all good starter themes, we have excellent body classes. So for example, here if I open this up in Firebug, you can see that my body has a tremendous amount of classes that are available to us. And then also on the node, let me right click here and look at this. The node has an excellent amount of classes as well. So we have classes for the type of node, whether or not it's in teaser or full mode, if the current user is looking at his node, who created the node. We have the roles of the user who created the node. So there's all kinds of really good CSS classes that allow you to hook into the system, whether or not very generally or very specifically. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough, and keep in mind that these features are pretty much identical in both Drupal 6 version of LayoutStudio and Drupal 7 version of LayoutStudio. The only thing that Drupal 6 version doesn't quite have at this moment is the header, but that is being backported and will be there fairly shortly. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed it.